welcome back to another episode of OHKO, a Pokemon VGC podcast. I know we took a week off. I apologize, but it's all going to be worth it. Sierra Dawn, Joe Brown, and we have a special guest here today, our Toronto regional champion, Cary D'Ortona. Cary, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Still trying to get it all, let it settle in. So that was whole experience and everything. So that's been fun.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I think if we took a list of every first question we've asked our regional or IC winner on the pod, we always say has it kicked in yet? Has it felt? Have you really understood the gravity of the situation? And it's kind of a hit or miss. Some people are like, no, it just feels like a random Tuesday to me, and other people are like, yeah, I feel like I saw the title and I knew my life changed forever. That's so interesting how the same accomplishment could feel so different for so many people.
Yeah, 100%. It's when it came down to in the moment, it hit. And I'm like I did it, and I couldn't believe it. And I could tell my friends, it's I don't know how I feel, and they're like, you're just awestruck or whatever. It's gonna sink in eventually, and it's it kind of has. It's but it still feels very odd. I don't know how to describe it.
I mean, especially at this point too, you've been busy since. This is, I think, your third podcast appearance. Got to see you on Tub Takes, and then
Yes.
there was another.
I mean, OHKO. O2 drop. Oh yeah, you're okay.
O2
drop.
Yeah.
O2 drop.
Spoilers. He's gonna be on OHKO, guys. But as well, people are doing YouTube videos, testing out your team. People have been tweeting about it. How has that part felt too? Because I feel if you're already kind of awestruck or things are being surreal, all that on top of it, how's that?
I think it's really cool. I've always wanted to have a couple of my teams featured in videos and stuff that I've done with before, especially I think my first team that I cut with, I really wanted people to look into, but they never did. It was the Specs Pult with the Tauros. I think Joe actually casted that game, I think. Maybe.
Okay.
I think so. But I don't know, it was just really cool to see people really like the Roaring Moon team and then start playing with it and testing it. So it's just really nice to see it out there on YouTube and stuff. It just kind of warms my heart in a way. So it's it's just been really neat.
I love that, especially too, the Roaring Moon on the team. That has definitely been a focal point for a lot of people. So let's start the episode off here and start talking about the team in general, because we get to see that you definitely have some creative team building choices when you talk about stuff like the Specs Pult. Now we're back in this regulation. Roaring Moon is definitely not the most unheard of, but it's definitely a little bit more niche than a couple of other Pokemon. Where did you start with this team for building for this event? Was Roaring Moon always something you want to build around? Was it kind of something you tested out? Talk us through the process.
So it was really funny. So Pat's the main builder. He was the one who came up with the Roaring Moon idea from the beginning. I joined in a lot later. I think I joined in probably 4 weeks or before the event. And he kept showing me replays of the team as it was progressing through its 45 stages, because the 45th iteration of the team was the one that we ended up bringing to the tournament. I eventually decided to play it because I'm I'll give it a couple games. It looks fun. And then so I started playing with it. I'm oh, this feels really good. And then so I decided to ended up bringing it to the tournament because me and Pat have worked together before. Sometimes it'll work really well. Sometimes it won't. I think both of my 5-3s last year were actually with Pat's teams, but they were both last minute picks usually. This one I gave myself time to make sure I understood the team, studied the matchups and everything. But Moon sold me when I was getting really annoyed with all these bold Fluttermanes, and I'm I just need something that gets rid of it and deals with it, and Roaring Moon plus Goldango just destroys it. So I'm I'll run this.
Hey, listen, both Fluttermane was everywhere, so that was definitely a smart decision. I'm wondering, when you're working with Patrick, or you're working in team building groups in general, how does the process go when, let's say you're just so passionate about a certain move or a certain EV spread, and the rest of the group wants to change the item or change one of the moves? How do those heads clash? And you said it took 45 different iterations of the team to finally get there.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because I think for this team, like we were very all in agreement on like a lot of the choices. Like we were like 100% Citrus Berry Gus, 100% Rocky Helmet on Incineroar. There was like I think one debate about like the Terra on Incineroar, whether we went to flying or we kept grass, but we all ended up going on flying. I think like a better example of like where it's like that clashing heads thing was like actually back in Louisville when I built with Pat before, where when we had the water Tauros, Pat was like, "Oh, we need to go Mirror Herb." I think Mirror Herb's correct, but I was like really stuck on Focus Sash. Like I'm like, I think we got to run Focus Sash on Tauros. But then eventually, like after enough trial and error, where I realized why Sash wasn't working, I eventually caved and went to Mirror Herb. So usually it's kind of like through testing, you eventually see like where like an idea is probably better than what you're like attached to, or sometimes maybe it is slightly a bit more comfort, so you decide to stick with it, and it's not really changing much besides maybe a small matchup or two. It's just important to like I think judge those important calls, and then also just make sure you're communicating and working with your team building group.
That makes a lot of sense. The question I had about the team was obviously we got to see the team with great success day one. After day one, we got to see a funny tweet that Patrick actually posted, and it was talking about the group record with the team, but then said this is the record with the quote unquote mid team. At what point did this mid, was it something someone said in testing? Was it something somebody like said? Like where was this mid team quote from?
So the quote was from like all the top players that Pat was like showing it to, mostly his close friends. So like well, maybe not close friends, but like people he knows, right? So you like show the team, he's like, this is what I'm currently working on, and they're like, I don't think this looks too good. I think this is like pretty bad. Or it was like when Justin Tang and Ugarte, they made a video like tier listing all the mons and stuff. They were talking about Roaring Moon Balance. And in fact, when they talked about Roaring Moon Balance, they mentioned Patrick's team that he used in VR. That was like one of the earlier iterations of the team. And they were like, oh, it's like a B or a C tier. Like it could do well, maybe. Like I'm not 100% sure. It has to be the right pilot. But otherwise, like I don't know how well this is going to do at the tournament. So that's where like the mid allegations came from, but like us within the group felt like it was like such a strong team and such a strong call going into this tournament in particular.
Well, Sierra, I somewhat iconically nicknaming Roaring Moon Roaring Mid all of those years ago, right?
You don't gotta call me out like that.
No,
like,
this is a good thing. This is
right?
Just saying, this is like you are attached to the lore as well.
I'm just saying, it's one of those Pokemon. Someone uses it against me. Godlike. I use it. Roaring Mid all the way. I don't know, man. Like I'm falling into the it depends on the pilot allegations, and my Roaring Moon is not doing all of that.
I mean, I will say, I think Roaring Moon's a very hard Pokemon to use. Like, and that's not just like I'm just saying like it is, because it's like you have to be conservative to Terra. You got to know when to switch it on or off the board. You got to know when to bring it. It's like, is it on lead or is it in the back? So it's like a lot of variables. The other thing with Moon is like it can be really weak, especially when I'm running like a support set. I don't have like acrobatics to do big burst damage, so it comes more down to positioning and passive chip over time. So it's like a really hard Pokemon to use and kind of in that way. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not a splashable Pokemon. Like a Amoonguss, Incineroar, things like that.
That's for sure. And with it being a Pokemon that is pretty particular, then let's start talking about the Toronto Regional Championships, because we get this Roaring Moon, Roaring Mid, no whatever side of the coin people are on here, and you go undefeated day one of 3 people to be able to do so. I want to talk about the run during the day 2, because when you talk about Roaring Moon being a Pokemon that can be a little bit difficult sometimes to play, I want to know how you felt about the day 1, if it was really easy because it was just the correct meta call, or if it was something that like still felt like it was difficult to achieve.
I think it was like a combination. I think in the early rounds, like it felt pretty smooth. Mainly because it's like you're more likely to pair into maybe not as high level players. No offense to anyone, obviously. It's just Pokemon, that's the way it is. But it's like as we got into the later rounds, like I had some like tougher matchups, a lot more closer, like that were a lot closer against different people. I had like one matchup in like round, I think it was 5 versus like Ale Piscatelle, and that one was like super close. Like it came down to like rolls with like Reggie Drago and a Roaring Moon and stuff. Getting like a 50-50 right turn 1. or my Urshifu surviving a double up in game 3 in order to clean the set. But like overall, it felt like really strong into a lot of the teams. It just came down to me like just playing good balance overall, because like I have all the tools that I need to, and then it just comes down to the positioning.
I think that's interesting how these teams work, and I always wonder about the mindset of like, or the mindset, excuse me, of top level VGC players, because I always wonder with momentum and how things work. Like if you're more confident in your decisions in round 8 because you're currently 7-0 versus if you were 5-2 trying to make it into day 2, does that change how confident you are in your decisions or what you think your opponent's best in? Like if I'm making any sense, like does your current record impact your confidence on your like upcoming decisions?
I think it is, but it's also been something I'm trying to work on, because I think I like the way Patrick put it. I take a lot of Patrick's advice to heart. And one of them is take it one round at a time, because every round is different from the last. Like ignore the fact that you played a previous round or the fact that there's the next round. Focus on the game ahead of you, because I think it's really, really easy to feel really confident. Because like, let's say I'm 5-0, right? It is really easy to go from 5-0 to 5-3 very quickly. If like you're too
lots
confident.
of times.
Yeah, like well, that's happened to me before. Like at Atlanta, I was like I think 5-1, and then I lost the last two rounds to not be able to make it to day 2, because like I was overconfident and like not focusing on the game in front of me. So it's like I think it's a matter of like pacing yourself and like making sure that you're playing like round by round. I think it's really easy to get tired when you're like trying to do that, because like especially my round 8 when I saw it was like Dondozo, I'm like, oh. I was like, really? Like I played Dondozo right now. It's like a bunch of 50-50s. Like I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, before we continue on with the tournament run, I want to kind of rewind for a second before we started talking about dreaded Dondozo. But you were talking about the advice that Patrick gave you, and that like one of the key pieces, and he had like a bunch of good advice. Is there anything else like you're comfortable sharing for like this wise advice? Because obviously he is a very accomplished player too. Like I'd love to know this advice he's given you.
I think one of the other most important ones that I like hold very near and dear is play your game. And so I know that sounds kind of like weird without going into explanation, so I will. But play your game is basically like play like yourself. Don't try to play like other people. Play like you. Play your game. Focus on your game. Be yourself. Like don't let just play the game. Like don't let outside things get to you. Like it's like it's your game. It's your time. It's your chance to play. So just focus on it and be yourself. So like that's like one of the ones that I've been like holding on to the longest, and so it's like I try to apply that like every time I play.
That's so funny, because like I literally, a question I was gonna ask you like when we were leading up was about your top 4 match against Jack and the perception, because I was casting it like it felt like you're saying you were just playing your game. It felt like you just did not care what his strategy was. You knew your strategy was to sit there with Roaring Moon, right, to slowly to chip through his team. So to hear like that is the advice that you were given, like you're actually putting it to practice, that like it really is not about your opponent, it's about you sticking to your win condition.
Right.
Love that. All right, so Patrick advice, amazing. Top tier team with this Roaring Moon 45th iteration, amazing. 8-0 on day 1, top tier. Now, getting into day 2, like when you're talking about the advice being, okay, take it one game at a time, but you're also sitting there 8-0 and you're having this heater of a tournament run. You also get into top cut later rounds, you know that matchups are looking good. I want to know what point of the day you're thinking like, okay, I can win this thing, or like how you're kind of like tempering expectations, because I know how big of a goal it was for you to win a regional within the Scarlet and Violet era, right? So like how do you kind of calm that, or like was that helping motivate?
It was like so this tournament was very similar to Portland. I called it like Portland 2 Electric Boogaloo, because it's like it's very similar with like an 8-0 start into only one loss before cut. And then also with a goofy dark type Tailwind user that was a Paradox Pokemon, so that ends up working out. But to answer your question, it was kind of like I'm just gonna temper my expectations. It's like I think I can do well. I think I can at least cut. But I need to like make sure that I'm focusing on the game, not getting like too overly confident. Just like I was saying before, pace myself, go round by round. Because like I said before, it's like very easy to get like overconfident and blow it out proportion. So it's like I just tried to stay calm after each round, make sure I like got some time to myself to like think, recuperate, and like recover, and then get ready for the next one.
I think from my perspective, when I thought you were going to win was after that top 4 match. Like how like you were just so in control. Confident. Right, it really felt like the momentum was in your favor, and then you're facing a very stock standard team with, that's what we love about Chua. He's using bolt balance. He's using things that you're expecting him to use. So obviously you have a lot of practice against that team. So how do you deal with, how your team is prepared for one of the most expected, if not the most expected team in the format? Because just because you're facing it doesn't mean the way that Paul Chua plays it. It's going to be the same way that Justin Cares plays it versus the same way that, Worsley would be playing it or something like that. So how do you handle that matchup in the finals?
So I was like so after I saw that Paul won versus Justin Tang, I felt very confident that like I could like possibly win it. Mainly because Tang's matchup is more 50-50, just because of the way that his team is and like my team is as well. It's just a lot of calls and positioning. But when I saw that it was like Paul, I was like, I know this team. I'm very comfortable into it, not only because I'm familiar with the matchup, it's also because I started Reg F just playing Bolt Balance in part 2. Like, because that was the team that I was planning to bring to the tournament beforehand. Not the same one that Paul was considering, something more closer to what Alex Gomez and Stefano Greppi had. When they were doing well at those tournaments. But I was like very knowledgeable of the matchup already from playing it so much that I kind of had a figure on like how Paul was going to approach certain game plans and like how he was going to approach turns, whether or not he would like play aggressively or try to play a bit more passive and reserved. So that I tried to use that to my advantage, which I did think showed in the finals when I was playing against him.
I mean, yeah, that finals, we had kind of set it up as like a David versus Goliath, because he has how many regional wins, right? And we get into the finals, and it was just such a dominant match, and it was something that you'd expressed after, like, this was favorable for you. I saw you backstage, we talked about the fact that it was very favorable from you. Do you think that there is any way that, like, besides just forgetting how to play VGC or like a lightning strike on your Switch, do you think that, like, considering how favorable the matchup was, there was a way you could have lost it? Because we saw paralysis come on through, wasn't enough. Like, we see him try, you're up against Paul, for goodness sakes, wasn't enough, right? Like, could you have lost that?
I think I could have, because like Bolt Balance, like even though it's favorable for me, mainly because I have Gus and he has like not a lot of ways to slow it down, and he only has 2 spore immunities, both being weak to Amoonguss with Sludge Bomb. It really just kind of comes down to leads, because it's like if I led Urshifu Amoonguss, for example, and he leads like Incineroar plus Raging Bolt, I'm all of a sudden like pretty decently behind. Mainly because he can get that Calm Mind off, start stacking like boosts, and then like start trying to like cleave through my team. While in comparison, if I did the Lando lead like I did in game 2, calling the Raging Bolt lead, I'm like super far ahead. So it's mainly like you really want to get the call right on the turn 1 in terms of leads, because then it immediately gives you pressure going into the first turn, and now it's on Paul to react, and he has to make like the tough decisions and the tough calls, while you can like force his hand a lot of the times into doing certain plays or positioning. Like I had a feeling game 1, Paul was going to lean into like Ogre Pond, for example. So I lead Urshifu Amoonguss, because Urshifu plus Amoonguss is like very, very strong into his Ogre Pond lead, right? Even if he led Bolt, I still had plans to like get around it, because I could like pivot in my Landorus, or I could like Surging Strikes the Incineroar, maybe like throw close combat to the Bolt, like chip it in range or something. So it's like that's like mainly the idea why I led that. But then I was like, okay, that lead's really weak to Raging Bolt in theory, so I need to swap to Landorus for game 2, because he's probably going to lean more into Bolt, because he can get more momentum that way. But then by having Landorus on the board and Amoonguss with the Spore and the Sandseer pressure, and immediately put him on the back foot, so then he had to be reactionary. So that was like the main idea behind it.
And you bring up the Landers, and I think this is something that I talked about a lot throughout the stream, throughout the whole weekend, that like Landers is just really good. Like I was surprised that it's only 27% usage. I was trying to scream from the mountaintops that people should be using, like, just the ground poison coverage is just like, it's just perfect into this format right now, because like you either hit Raging Bolt or it turns into a fairy type, and then you hit it with Sludge Bomb, and you hit all 4 of the Ogre Ponds and all these Terra Steels to avoid Fluttermane. Right now you hit it super effectively with Earth Power. So like, wait, why are what was that 73% of people not using Landorus? It just seems so good.
It's broken. It's actually dumb. Like 2 things that I knew I wanted to use, like, after playing like the start of Reg F, is like I wanted to use Mystic Water Urshifu and I wanted to use Landorus, and I'm like, I want to use those 2 because they're like actually so stupid. Like it's ridiculous how broken that mon is, and it's like hilarious because of how disrespected it was in EU for Birmingham, and I think it showed because there was only 2 in cut, being Sanvi. No, it wasn't Sanvi. It was Shohei. Shohei had it on his team, and then Stefano, who won with it. So it's like, and it was like insane in all the matches he brought it to. Like it was like really, really good. So it's like I'm surprised it wasn't like popping off more over there, because I think it's just such a dumb Pokemon. Like you can run it, like it only has like 4 moves that it uses, being like Sansir, Sub, Sludge Bomb, and Earth Power, but it's just like that's all it needs. It's ridiculous. Like it's
so good, Pokemon, man.
Unless like I'm blind, there was only just 1 in the top cut for Toronto as well, and it was yours. Like, which is just like actually crazy.
It's shocking.
It's broken. Like people don't respect it. I don't know why. Like just it's nuts. Like, because that mon was like the MVP like almost all weekend. Like just Earth Power, Sand.
I believe
like,
it.
It's just, and I think it came to all my top cut sets. Yeah, it did. It came to every single one. Like, what an absurdly broken Pokemon. Like,
right, people building for EUIC. Like, if you don't have Lando in the builder, like, what are you doing? Genuinely, like, let's just. All right.
I'll be honest, yeah.
That actually is like I didn't quite look at the numbers. That is actually
it's
crazy.
Jarring. I don't know what
it's surprising.
What haze has come over our player base, because there was a point that there were regionals that Lando I was at like 42-45% usage on day 2, and like for the fact that for instance to barely be cracking top 12, I'm like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's wild because like genuinely, I think it is like one of, if not the best mon in the format. Like I think Urshifu or like Raging Bolt's probably the king, mainly just because of like how many different sets you can run on it. It's just so flexible. But Landorus just being this mon that's able to just break balance consistently with Sludge Bomb and Earth Power, and then just being able to take out a lot of the major threats of the meta in like one shot or with chip into an OHKO is like just absolutely absurd. And then you give it Sansir Storm, so then has spread Earth Power basically. Like it's just nuts.
I mean, get Lando I on the teams, especially too for Toronto, like winning in Masters, but seniors as well. Before you even got to finish with your top cut bracket, Connor won seniors with the same team. So talk to me about that, because like, dog. Yeah, like that was awesome. Big congrats to him. And then yeah, like you know that your team had what it took to win.
Yeah, so it was funny how he joined on in the process. So I'm up late one night laddering on Showdown, and so I'm just playing, and I queue into Charlie Kim, if you know who that is. That was one of the other senior players. I think he made finals at LAIC this year, or technically last year, but this season.
Really drunk, like
yeah. So I played into him. I beat him, I think 2-0 if I remember correctly. But Connor was actually watching that set, and he's like, "Hey, your team looks really cool. Can we like talk about it?" And so we talked about it a bit. Then I asked Patrick, I'm like, "Can he join on?" And then after talking with Patrick for a bit, he's like, "Sure, Connor can join on." So then Connor joins the process, and he helped, like he joined. He was like the last member to join, and he helped us really like finalize like a lot of game plans, and was just really good with discussion, also really good with prep. So that was really nice, and it was really cool to see him win in seniors. Like he did. Like from what I was hearing, what he was telling me, like games were going very smoothly. He was playing really well, so it was really nice to like see him win it. I was very happy for him to win it all, because it was like I think like almost a year since his like last one, I think that he won, and it's just been like consistent like top fours. And then I think he lost in finals at Vegas to like some really bad RNG. So it was really nice to see him be able to get the win in Toronto.
Yeah, we were all popping off in the Discord when he told us, because we've seen him post every time, oh, I got fourth, or oh, I got finals, you know. And so when he finally got that dub, everybody was popping off.
Yeah.
It was a good win. Good weekend for the team. And I want to pull up then. Give me a second as I open up the window. Kind of talk about just the top cut that we got to see at Toronto, because this is the first podcast episode that we've had since Toronto, because we took a week off. So would love to kind of take the opportunity to talk through this with you here too, especially to like, I think like the biggest question with Regulation F 2.0 was, is it just going to be a bunch of bolt balance, right? Which certainly we are seeing some bolt balance, but I feel like we're seeing some like quirky stuff as well. Like we got to see Jack Clark's team. Like we get the Ogie Dogie, we get the Roaring Moon. Like we're getting some other pieces too. Like how are you feeling? How did he feel about Regulation F returning, and then what we kind of gotten to see so far?
So I was really excited for Reg F returning, mainly because so my first regional was in Reg F, and it was at the Orlando that Wolf won. But that was that is my worst regional record to date. I went 1-4 drop. It was really bad. Mainly so I brought like James Evans gouging fire team, and I just pulled like the worst matchups imaginable. And it was like round 1, almost the full mirror, and I lose to like double crit from Terra Normal, E-Speed from Dragonite, and then round 2 I get Tim Edwards fresh off his EUIC second place. And then round 3, I get like an auto loss matchup, and I'm just like, yeah, today's not my day. But so I was like really excited because it was like a chance to kind of like redeem myself of that in like a way, like for me personally. Like it was like a chance to like kind of re-explore the format and try to like approach it in a different way. So I was really excited to see it because I thought a lot of the tools and a lot of the teams were really cool in F. I also like the skill level in F in terms of like play, because there's a lot of very nuanced turns in terms of like trading and stuff. So like that's one of the reasons why I was really excited about it coming back.
There are only 3 Raging Bolt in top 8, so it's like it's not terrible, right?
3,
4, 5 in top 8 total, and then the 2 in top 8. Yeah,
I think this format's really underexplored. Like I think a lot of people are very afraid to like try and break the box, like get out of the box and like try new stuff, because I think they're like, because I was talking with Pat, and Pat's like, there is still so much that this format has to offer in terms of team building that like people I think are just very afraid to do, and I'd be inclined to agree. But I think one of the most important things to notice from Reg S return is I think offensive balance so far seems to be like the key, or at least like offense teams with a consistent like backbone of support. Because if you look at a lot of the teams that cut, they have like a reliable mode that they can kind of fall back on if they need like support in some way. Like good example would be Justin Tank's team, like where it's like very offensive with like Reggie Drago and stuff and Goldango, but you kind of have like a fire, water, grass core to kind of fall back on with like Follow Me on Ogre Pawn and like Rillaboom for Fake Out. And then Urshifu is like a good pivot mon. So it's like a lot of like little things that I think are really interesting.
I can't remember. Did you play the dreaded Moltres Hacks team or no?
I did not, but I wasn't too worried about it because like Goldango is very, very strong into that matchup. Like okay. That was one of the reasons why we brought the team as well. It had a very, very good like Flutter, Harkonine, like flinch, spam, T-Wave hacks matchup. So that was like one of the other reasons why I was like, I want to bring this because I do not want to deal with this during the tournament. I just want to click Tailwind, make it rain, double kill the board, game's over, I can move on with my day. So yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, while we're talking about top cut results and stuff, I want to take this opportunity to look at Birmingham as well, especially too, I know that you have some great insight here because of who won, talking about Stefano Greppi. First off, I saw on Top Takes that you predicted him, and then I did a little detective work and saw that you guys like Practice together, we're together, good friends. Like, talk to me about this
Yeah.
win too. Like,
I met him through prep for Worlds, and then like we've just like worked together kind of since, like at least like always discussing teams with each other, like being like, oh, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Like, or we'll like run games with each other and stuff. But so this was a team that me and him have been talking about for like a minute. Like I was testing a different variant of this six like early on, but then I dropped it before the tournament. But then he like repicked it up and then added his own tweaks to it. Like he added Icy Wind Chen Pao, which I thought was really smart. Changed a lot of the dynamics of the tougher matchups, like Psy Spam, for example, or like certain HO teams. Like it just made Mystic Water Urshifu like way stronger. We agreed that Booster Bolt was like way better than lefties. I am a lefties hater on Calm Mind Raging Bolt. I just think it's so passive. I hate it so much. Just run booster, do damage, take one hit KOs after +1. Like it's just too good. But we both agreed that we thought Landorus was really strong on this team, mainly because it makes the mirror, like the bolt balance mirror, like way more consistent and a lot easier. Mainly because like not only do you pin down all those balance pieces, but you pin down the opposing Raging Bolt, so you can kind of afford to run your Raging Bolt in like a different way, for example. But I just think this team was like really well rounded, and I think Stefano played really, really well on the day. And I think all the little like texts and changes that he added like really allowed it to like pop off at Birmingham and do well.
So what I'm hearing is Cary is a 1.5 times regional champion this season.
No.
Give partial credit for Birmingham.
No.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
The changes that Stefano made were all Stefano. We just discussed like an early skeleton of this team, which was like the Mystic Water Urshifu with like Sash Chen Pao. Like very similar to the original Japan balance team that Brady used to get finals, but it was just like those small tweaks and changes to make it more offensive and like a bit better into the meta. So like, that was the thing. But then he made like a lot of the small tech changes that made it better, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, I know people were popping off on that Icy Wind Chen Pao. You know,
it was a really good call. I think it was really smart.
I mean, we won't have you share Stefano's accomplishment. That one's all his own. Toronto's all your own. Especially because you have gotten a lot of really great results just as of late in general. Like, I feel like there's always a bunch of players that, like, we as a broadcast team have our eye on, but obviously, as you know, there's only a few rounds that can be streamed per event, right? We only pick one per round. So there's a lot of people that get, like, consistent results that we can't necessarily showcase. And we've gotten to kind of watch you as a player. We've gotten to know that you're good, and you've really popped up more and more as of late. So I want to talk about that journey and just getting, like, being able to improve to finally then end up getting that win. Like, how you're able to like level up and push through.
So it was a lot of trial and error and like personal growth. I think it was a lot more personal growth with the game because I think what a lot of people forget is that Pokemon is not only a game about like playing the actual video game and like skill, but it's also a mental game. If you're not there mentally, like you are not going to be playing well. If you have a toxic relationship with the game, you're not gonna enjoy playing the game, and like it's just gonna be like a worse result. So like a lot of the times, my worst results were usually from me, like just like panicking, like not like locking down on a team in time, not feeling confident in myself, or like something external going on in my life, just like not allowing me to focus on the game in some ways. So it's like it as like so every like 5-3 that I got, I like really like especially recently now I've been like just trying to think back on like, okay, like, why did I lose? Like, what do I need to do to improve? Because I think really early on, and especially in the middle of my season, like last season, I was very focused on winning, and it's very easy to focus on winning, and then you start not looking at your losses as like ways to learn. You just look at them as losses, and then you try to find ways to like excuse the loss for yourself, which is like, oh, I lost because of RNG or something, or they made like a dumb play or something, when it's like you should really go back and look like, oh, maybe I should have done this. Like, oh, I see why they did that. Like really go back and think back on the games and like why you made the choices that you did, like where the mistakes lie and how you can improve. Because nobody's perfect at Pokemon. It's always a game about improvement. But I think personally for me, it was like very much a mental journey that I've been trying to work on and like just slowly build myself back up and my confidence and stuff like that in order to be able to play at a better and a higher level.
I think that's really important for people to hear, because you're certainly not alone. There is, unfortunately, the grip that VGC has on us as players is that a lot of people struggle with that. The winning feels hurts, or losing hurts more than winning feels good, right? And so that is something that, unfortunately, a lot of us, I don't know if it's something in our brain of why we like Pokemon, that's something that we all have to overcome. And I think now, looking forward through the rest of these last couple events before at the end of Scarlet and Violet, how does this victory, like, you climbed the mountaintop, you're here, you got what you were going for, how does that impact your motivations for the rest of the season, going into Champions? You have your direct Worlds invitation already, right? So what's the future look like for you?
I just want to play good Pokemon. I want to go to events. I want to fight good trainers, right? Play good Pokemon, and like just have fun. Like, I think that's like the most important thing. It's like, I feel like if you want to do well at the game, you want to have fun with the team that you're using, right? It's because, like, if you enjoy a team, you're going to enjoy playing, and thus you're going to play better in a way. So it's like, I just want to go, like, meet people, play good games, stuff like that. So that's why I'm like excited to go to EUIC, because I get to see all my foreign friends and stuff like that. So that's gonna be cool.
I mean, when you say play good Pokemon, like, I just remember James Evans insisting on that at the World Championships. Like, he said in his interviews that he just came to play good Pokemon, that's it. And finalist at the World Champions, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's something to be said about just going out there and putting up good Pokemon. Now, I have a two-part question. I had said earlier about your goal being to win a regional in the Scarlet and Violet era. You'd said that in your interview with Rose after you won. Obviously, we have a limited amount of regionals left at some point before Worlds. So we're switching over, assumingly. Regardless, there's not many regionals left in this season, right? So with that being the goal that you had been working towards, and knowing that there is now going to be an end time to Scarlet and Violet, were you feeling any sort of pressure of, like, okay, I have to, like, where can I get this win to be able to accomplish that goal before we've moved on to Champions?
In some ways, yes, but I also felt like if I kept playing it the way that I was, and then like just trying to like focus on self improvement, I could have probably been able to do it before Champions rolled around. Because I also have like Seattle registered. Not 100% sure if I'll go anymore, because like it's EUIC into Seattle, and then I've also already got my win, so it's like a big maybe on that. But I was like, I think I can do it. It's just a matter of like at the right time, the right place, the right team, and just playing my best. So it's like, I don't think, because it's like I always had that goal. Like, even when I like first started out, I wanted to do that, but I don't think I like realized like in the moment, if that makes sense, like that I had accomplished that until I got up on stage and I was like, wow, I really did what I said I was going to do like 2 years ago. So it's like, it's just really cool. So like that's like the neat part.
I mean, you got that goal accomplished. Do you have a next goal? I feel like a lot of people, it's like the progression is like win a regional, then win an IC, do this. So like, is it similar or?
So my overall goal at the end of the day is to eventually win the World Championships. And I know that's like everybody's goal, but like that's something that I really started out with on. Mainly because it's like the way that I got into VGC was watching a lot of like Wolf's videos and like Cybertron's videos, and it was just like really inspiring in a way. And it's like I want to get to that level. I want to play at that level. I think I can play at that level. So it's like I believe I can win Worlds at some point in the future. I just need to keep working at it, chipping away, and like just playing the game. So it's like eventually I want to get to that point. And of course, there's like other stuff on the way that I obviously want to do. Like I would love to win an IC, another regional, like whatever it may be. But it's like that's all going to be like incremental eventually to the goal of winning the World Championships is what I want to eventually do.
I think one thing that's cool for you, Cary, like when you go to future regionals now as a regional champion, and you've had a lot of accomplishments already, you had a lot of top cuts and everything. So this isn't like you came out of nowhere to win the title, but there's obviously the other players that have taken a lot more of the runtime, a lot more priority. But now you are in that class. Does it impact you at all that like every time somebody scrolls through Arcanine for the pairings, they're gonna stop on your name now. Like you're a part of those players that they'll Cary's playing Wolf. Cary's playing Joe Garte. Like does that give you more motivation, or is that something you don't really care about?
I just think it's I think it's like nice to get the recognition. I think that like that's neat. Like I think that's like obvious like in a way, but it's like overall it's fine. Like I'm very like fine with it. It's like my name was already known. Like people knew I was like a good or a solid player. The regional just kind of like adds to that sentiment. So it's like it just makes my name more known in a way, but it's like at the end of the day I'm still there to just play Mons. I do not care who's in front of me. I will try and defeat you and play my best. So it's like at the end of the day it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's just kind of neat in terms of like, oh, like someone's gonna like know who I am from like reading off the pairing or something. So like that's just like the neat part mainly.
I want to go back to you talking about how you got into VGC, because I think too there's quite a lot of our viewers that want to get into competitive, or maybe kind of dabbling a little bit. Maybe they've played in an online tournament, maybe they're eyeing up going to a local or a regional, or just maybe a little bit nervous too, right? They get to watch the Wolf videos, the Aaron videos, they get to see people like you compete, and they kind of feel like maybe they can't be a part of that, right? But yours wasn't an overnight success story like the Justin Tang we see come out and win the first regional. Like you have been grinding and putting in the work for like over 2 years now, and I want to know if you have any advice for those people who are maybe watching the content and like, you know, like I am inspired by these people, maybe I would like to do this, and like inspiring words for maybe a journey ahead to help get them to their first event.
I think it's like a matter of, so like what I did is, so I was very fortunate and I was able to start in high school. So that was like the main thing. So I had a lot of free time on my hands. So I really was like dedicating myself to like studying the game, practicing, like talking with people, like especially my friends, going to locals and stuff. So it was like what I tried to do, especially like early on, is like I tried to go to that first local, see how I felt, see how I enjoyed it, and then once I knew that I enjoyed it, I wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep playing, and so it's like I think it's like the important thing is like it's like incremental. Like I don't think like obviously there's like people that like win the first regional at the first one that they attend, right? But like that's like every once in a blue moon, right? Like a Nicholas Morales or a Justin Tang, right? But it's like I think the important thing is to like pace yourself, learn, and like learn from those losses, and then adapt and then improve. Because a lot of the ways that I was able to improve somewhat quickly is I tried to implement those practices like somewhat like not instantly in my play, but like quickly, right? I think one of my like the perfect examples was of this is like at my first local, I actually met one of my very close friends now, Christopher Baez, and I remember I lost to him because I kept protecting like every other turn. This was like my first local, right? And so like afterwards, I was like, "Oh, why did you attack this and this?" And he's like, "Well, I noticed that you were protecting like every other turn that you had protect on like every other Pokemon, so it became really easy to like target you down." It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep that in mind for next time. That's something I need to like work on and fix." So then at the next local I played him, I ended up beating him because I learned like how to properly use protect and make the correct calls and et cetera, et cetera. So it was like just a matter of like taking those lessons and then trying to apply them and like learn and like adapt and stuff. So I think that's probably like the most important part is being open to criticism, being open to learning, being open to adapting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I was, you know, as you were saying that, I was thinking about I've had some conversations with friends in real life that are not VGC players, right? And they obviously follow from me on my feeds or whatever. And they always ask, like, oh, if I wanted to get in, like you were watching Wolf videos or watching Aaron videos. And now we're in a weird spot because they're like, well, do I want to go play a Scarlet and Violet regional when we're about to go on the Champions, right? Like, and so now I've been trying to convince those friends, like, no, you should still learn how the Urshifu and the Bolt Balance teams work and everything like that, even if it's not relevant in Champions. Like, it might one day be, we presume that Raging Bolt will eventually be in Champions, right? So, like, what ammunition can you give me to convince my novice Pokemon friends
Okay, so it's
that
kind of
it
funny.
is a good idea to play one of these last couple Scarlet and Violet regionals?
I'm gonna say this though, it's kind of funny because I kind of agree with them because that's how I started. So it's like end of Sword and Shield, right? I'm like, well, okay, this VGC thing looks kind of interesting, but it's like I'm 15. I want to play in the Masters division, so I want to wait until I could play amongst the best of the best, which was my thought at the time. And then I was like, well, I don't want to join in at the end of Sword and Shield because like everything's all figured out and it's like annoying, and it would be harder to learn it that way than trying to learn with everybody else. So I waited for Scarlet and Violet to come around, and that's when I started getting into it, which I didn't intend my first local until I think like Reg E. Otherwise I was just playing like the in-game ladder with like random teams that I cooked up. So I can understand the sentiment of wanting to wait until the next game to make sure that you're on like a level playing ground with everyone else, because then it's kind of like, oh, we have to figure out this new format together in a way. So it allows it to be somewhat more accessible. I think it's really hard in this specifically this season of Scarlet and Violet in general, and a little bit of last season too, where it's like these repeat formats where people are already very experienced and know the formats like extensively. It's very hard to like jump in, but I think you should at least be able to like start dipping your toes in the water of like locals and stuff. So I would say probably that to your friends, like maybe go to 1 or 2 locals, just see kind of what it's like, bring like maybe like a quirky team or something like that to make it a bit fun, but like maybe save the regionals or something for when Champions rolls around, because then like it's a fresh playing field. It doesn't feel like you're like spending like hundreds of dollars going across the country to a regional to a format that like you're not that experienced in, for example, and may like have a hard time versus better players and stuff. So that's probably my take on it.
John,
sorry, didn't get the
basically.
advice you
can't-
wanted.
Yeah,
I can't have my friends coming with me to regionals. I get it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, listen. We want the regional championship advice. You're giving it to us straight. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Oh my goodness. All right. A couple more things we got to talk to you about. Obviously, EUIC is coming up. We know that you're going to EUIC. You just won a regional with a Pokemon that is not necessarily the most common. Being in that situation, then, how are you prepping / looking ahead at EUIC without leaking too much of like what you're trying to do? Because I mean, it's pretty easy to say, hey, this team is cracked, I should run it back. But also now everyone knows the team and could try and maybe prep against it. So
the funny thing about the team is, from what I've seen people play it, I feel like a lot of people don't know how to play it, which is funny. That's at least my take on it. I think that people are definitely taking note and prepping into it, though, because I think if you actually look at Birmingham results, which all the Flutter mains that were like in top 16, I think out of, besides like a couple, like it was more so on the P2 balance teams and stuff with like Ursaluna. But if you looked, they were on Terra Water Flutter main with Substitute, and they were 100% Terra Water because of Goldango, especially on my team with Specs. So it's and it's good in like Mystic Water Urshifu, and it's just a good defensive Terra in general. So my concern is like I feel like EU might be a bit more prep for it. I also think Amoonguss is going to be a bit more respected now, because I think the last 2 regionals, Amoonguss was very heavily disrespected, just looking at the results. Because like a lot of people are dropping goggles on Incineroar and stuff like that. And then it's like if you look at the 2 teams that won, was our less so my team, more so Stefano's. He had safety goggles and Incineroar, which has slowly been kind of dropping off a bit in favor of like Citrus Berry, Rocky Helmet, Assault Vest. So it's like, I think for EUIC, a lot of people are going to be prepping for Amoonguss and then like Goldango to some extent, but more so Amoonguss, because like I just think that mon's been so disrespected, more so than like Landorus or anything else. Like it's gotten away with like way too much. So I'm expecting the Europeans especially to maybe start teching on Taunt somewhere onto their team, or safety goggles on their Incineroars again, maybe a Terra Grass or 2. So I'm a little nervous in that way, but I don't know. I'm going to end up rolling up to the event with whatever I feel most comfortable with, whatever I feel like is just going to be a good team that I think I could play well. I think it's less so about making the call and more so about just bringing a team that I think I could pilot to a high level.
Now, I have an EUIC question here. A little less meta relevant, but still very pertinent here. D'Ortona, I don't know your ancestry. It kind of sounds Italian.
It is Italian.
And okay, it is Italian.
Yeah.
There have been 5 Italian regional champions in the EU this year. 2 Italians won international championships last season. Do you secretly have an EUIC buff coming up because of your Italian heritage?
I don't know. It's like it's funny because it's like I make this joke with my friends and stuff. So it's like the Italian buff or whatever. I also have a little bit of Irish too. So it's like if you want to include the Irish buff as well. But it's like I don't know, it's just funny. It's like it's especially funny when I get to talk to like Stefano about it and stuff. It's like I'm like a partial Italian, so it's like you could argue an Italian one Toronto too. So it's like I don't know. But yeah, so it's like I know it's just like a goofy little thing that it's like Italians are just good at Pokemon, so it's like I don't know.
The Italians are taking over. I mean, they have already taken over. Like Stronghold on VGC is absolutely cracked. So LA's been winning everything, but you also predicted who was going to win Birmingham. So we normally have predictions on the channel. We're not doing a full predictions thing today for EUIC, but it's always the most important question at the end is who is going to win and who's going to win EUIC. Since you were able to predict who is winning Birmingham, while you were here, I want to know who's winning EUIC other than yourself. Don't say yourself because that's just not fun.
No. My goal, I will say, like, obviously the goal is to win EUIC, but I at least want to cut EUIC. I want to day 2 make cut, like, so that's my main goal at the end of the day. But in terms of like who I think is gonna win it, I'm gonna put my hat in the ring for either. I'm gonna say it's either gonna be Marco or it's gonna be Teo Time. I think Teo Time for a long time has had just the results have been like piling up, and like I think he's due for like a big win. So I definitely think he has the chops and the ability to do it like 100%. So I wouldn't be surprised if he won, especially with how consistent he's been in the past year or two. So it's like I'm going to say Teo Time.
Okay. And if you wins, like I at this point I'm just gonna ask you for lottery numbers. Like I just don't even know. Or I can cheat on all my OHKO predictions, just message you beforehand. Who's winning this event? I gotta know.
Yeah. We've come close a couple times. But even with me this time, I predicted Justin Tang, and we made it to top 4. I was trying to be unbiased, but it's just how it works sometimes. Your heart gets in the way.
No, I get it.
Feel like that. All right. As well, going on forward, EUIC, you talked a little bit about the team. Something you said very early on in the episode, though, was you liked like your teams being like featured and stuff. Now that you have your Worlds invite, attending regionals, you have this opportunity too to just play some of the wacky Pokemon and try and just be like the innovator of all time, right? Like I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, so like at the end of the day, I'm a boring balance guy, but it's like if there's something quirky that I like, I'll run it. So it's like I don't know if you guys remember this Terra Grass Seed Bomb Ice Rider from Portland.
Yes.
Yes. So it's like if it's like something that I feel confident in, that I'm like I think this is good and has like a good like balance core that I can rely on, I'll bring it. Like when I brought that Kyogre team, I was like, this team looks so broken into the meta. Like I don't think anybody's ready for Kyogre, and then it has like a really good CSR Pagos matchup because I hated CSR Pagos at that time, and I'm like, I just need a team that just gets rid of it, is done with it. So I brought that. But it's like I think it really depends on like how I'm feeling about the format, what I'm comfortable with, and it's like if I feel comfortable making a call in terms of like what I'm bringing. So that's usually kind of how it goes down. Because some of my other results that I've done well with are like some like pretty stock standard balance teams, usually with like a small tweak to them that like fits what I'm trying to do. Like for Vegas, I ran Grassy Seed Volcarona on the really standard like King Gambit Electabuzz balance team, or like with my CSR team that I cut EYC with, I used like min speed Rocky Helmet Ensign for like Trick Room matchups and stuff. So it's like usually just small tweaks like that. But We'll see. Seattle, I might run something goofy. I might, but it's very dependent on like
Have
how
you
I'm feeling.
considered like, because I can't go to EUIC anymore? Have you considered Slitherwing?
We're making a Slitherwing team in the Discord. If we present
Just
you a
look
pace,
at some in Sun first impression KOs. Look at Terrifier Flare Blitz.
I know the first impression KOs. Believe me, I had a nightmare at Portland round 1 with Life Orb Slitherwing, and oh my gosh, I know how much it does. It's a ridiculous Pokemon. It's I see the potential, but I don't know. It's just too much Tornadus, man. Like it's just click Bleakwind Storm, it dies.
That's why you play Assault Vest Terrifier.
I actually remember I built a Slitherwing team for my friend when I first started. It was like Slitherwing with like Chempow and stuff and like Gyarados. I think it had a Azumarill too. It was like something goofy, but I think it could do something. It's just weird, man. It's such an awkward bond because it's like I feel like they gave it like some slightly better stats. Like it would be like pretty decent, but like they gave it like a really good special defense, like an amazing attack stat, and then just like, yeah, we give up on the rest of the stats. It's whatever.
It's okay. It's cute.
I love
it's
its design.
And its attack stat, like, yeah, I'm just saying, like the Assault Vest, survive everything. I've been pairing it with Jump Fluff, so like if you put everything to sleep, you don't have to worry about your Slitherwing getting hit. I'm just saying.
For our audio listeners, Cary just had an entire head roll, not eye roll, an entire head roll to the Jump Fluff response.
Oh man, bro. It's like I hate sleep powder, bro. I bring it to one local. I'm like, I'm gonna run Rogov's Goofy Sun team that he brought to Las Vegas for fun at a local. And I either missed every sleep powder or the opponent got every turn 1 wake up. I am not joking. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, I am never running sleep powder again. What a stupid move. It is either the most broken or the worst thing ever.
You just didn't want it enough, I guess.
I did want it. I did. Just nothing would stay asleep.
When we're asking for something off it, like you're like, oh, here's this Terragrass Calyrex, or here's this Min Speed Incineroar. Like you're taking something conventional and you're putting a little Cary twist on it. We're saying we want you to roll up to Seattle with low kicks or Bombardier,
or he's on Earthworm at Toronto, which was cool.
You should show up with Choice Scarf Walkabilly or something like that. That's what we want you to do.
Somebody went 3-0 with Snubble at Toronto.
I did see that. I think Geodude also went 4-4, which is, I don't know how in an Urshifu meta. Like how?
Yeah, that's actually wild.
How does Geodude go 4-4? Like,
just I mean the 4 wins from the 4 teams he played that didn't have Urshifu.
Yeah.
I guarantee one of them probably did. I'm just gonna call it right now. Wild, but I don't know. Maybe. I think if there's something that like really calls to me and really speaks to me, I'll probably bring it to Seattle, but we'll see.
Would you ever consider like a 5-mon real, like balanced 5-mon team and then the silly 6 just to like be, oh, X Pokemon got top 8?
Is it? Like, I mean, isn't that my Toronto team? Like, I just put Roaring Moon at the end.
Oh, Roaring Moon is that Squawkabilly, bro. Like, let's calm down here.
I could put like, what could I put? I remember someone sent me a replay where someone was running Bolt Balance and they were like 1600s or whatever, and they had Skunk Tank as the last slot. They put a Skunk Tank in the last slot. I don't know why, but okay.
Why not?
Why not? It's got one weakness.
I mean, it has Taunt, Stench, so you can flinch.
What does Stench even do? Is it just
Stench is like a flinch chance with like each move or something like that. I believe. So it's like you can be a little goofy with that. So
it's got the one muck typing, bro. It's got one weakness.
Yeah, Poison Dark. It's good in the Size Spam. It patches the Iron Crown matchup. I swear. And then they just lead Regidrago and click Dragon Energy and kill the whole board.
That sounds about right. That sounds a little more accurate.
Yeah.
We did not convince him to run Squawkabilly, chat. It's over.
Or Slitherwing.
Maybe
we will not find Slitherwing's strongest soldier here. Remains to be seen. All right, last silly question that I had for you. So, there's been a lot of content about Toronto and teams etc. There was also this VGC Abridged Toronto Regional Edition. That roll back your head makes me see like you saw it. So I gotta know your thoughts because they portrayed you as the what am I gonna eat?
La, 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 la.
Just kind of
that was painful to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I thought some of the talking bits were funny. Otherwise, I could not watch the rest of it. Where it was like where the Pokemon would do the attack and be like sploosh or like bonk. I'm like, I cannot watch that. And then it talked about then you have like Aaron selling his Apple pens or something like that. I'm just like, my friends thought the funniest bit was the protagonist joke where he's like, "Oh, I should be good. I'm the protagonist." Like, I was like, yeah, now they're just gonna say this for like the next 3 weeks or whatever. But the KBBQ thing was like so weird. I was like, but it was funny because Patrick was talking about getting it the day before, so it's like half right. And then, but we got like pizza that night, so it was like that's what we did. But that was so. It was so weird. It was so weird. I believe Andy's also a Florida local as well, so it's like because I think I saw him at 1 or 2 locals when I went up to like was it? I don't remember the local, but I've seen him a couple times.
Our mod Moggy actually asked in the Discord, "Can you ask Cary why he chose pizza?"
Why I chose pizza?
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so it was funny because after I get out of the winner's interview, they're like, "All right, what do you want to go get?" And I'm like debating because like my 2 favorite things when it comes to going out to like eat at a restaurant is either like Italian or it's Mexican food, right? And so then I said, I don't know, let's just do like pizza or something. And then like Patrick's like, "Yes, I told you. And then everyone, I guess, was like betting on what I was gonna say we were gonna go eat like afterwards. So then like I stop at their hotel room, we're like all sitting there and they're like, you guys want to like go out and get it? And then everyone's like, nah, we're all tired. Why don't we just like order in? So then we order in from a place. And my friend Chris does this really mean thing and he rage baits me. So like a little bit of context. I don't eat during tournaments. I don't eat breakfast, I don't eat lunch, I don't eat stuff in between. It's because my nerves are really high and I get nauseous. So then it's like I can't eat, otherwise I'm gonna throw up. But so like I'm sitting there like starving because now I have nothing else to focus my mind on. It's just food. And then Chris is like, "Oh, I thought it's like 40 minutes have passed since we ordered it." And I'm like, "Hey Chris, when does food get here?" And he's like, "Oh no, I canceled it. I canceled the order because no one told me what they wanted." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You didn't tell anybody?" And like almost everyone believed him, by the way. I know there was like 2 that didn't. I had a suspicion that he was lying. But I was like, "You are kidding." And I was about to get so annoyed at him, and then it arrived, and I'm like, "You're so mean. You're so mean." Like, but I love that guy. I love Chris. He's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Hopefully y'all's pizza was good because we ordered in pizza Saturday night and like seriously, it was like they just like took the box before handing it to us, shook it on its side, and then passed it back. Got like down.
Bruh.
It was a mess. I don't know, man. Toronto was not about it for the day, but it is getting late. I know if you mentioned you're a night owl, I gotta be up early for a draft match. One more question though, because Moggy had the 2-part.
Yes.
Moggy knew about the pizza, but I liked Moggy's second question. Joe Brown, I don't know if you want to introduce our question of the week here.
Yes. So for anyone that's your first time watching the OHKO podcast, at the end of every episode, we answer a question of the week. If you ever have any burning questions you would love Sierra, myself, or our guests to answer, join our Discord, link to the description down below, and ask in our question of the week channel. And this is coming from our guy, Moggy. I already asked about the pizza, but the second for Cary here is, if this was an internet instead of a regional, which mon would you like to be the distribution for the team?
I think it's Roaring Moon. I would say either Roaring Moon or Amoonguss because they were both like the MVPs. So it's like either Roaring, like I think it would probably be Amoonguss because of how much he carried finals. Like he just did so much with Spore. Actually, I don't think he left the field at all besides game 2 on like one of the last turns where I swap it out to sack my 2 HP Landorus. So it's like probably him, I would say, Amoongus, because it was really good. I think in like every set outside of top 4. So it was like probably Amoongus. Yeah, that's what I would say if I wanted internets.
That's the one that you would like as well. Like even like Perfect World, you would pick the Amoongus.
Probably the Moon, but I think the Amoongus mainly because it's like that Amoongus has done so much for me. Both my 8-0s with that Amoongus. It's also named after my my roommate, so it's so it ends up working out. So
sentimental
kind of cool
distribution.
Yeah, it's sentimental. So it's
I respect that. Most people would be like,
Amoongus.
"No, the cool Roaring Moon," but you're like, "No, the Pokemon that's been by my side."
They're both shiny, so I would take either. I would take either if I'm the player. Like get the shiny moon. At least it's not like what is it? Yuma. Yuma's is like the non-shiny Typhlosion, which I know people were a little bit bummed about. But it's still really cool because like Yuma's Typhlosion and stuff. But like I know people were a little bit bummed that it wasn't like I think it was people wanted the shiny Whimsicott, right? Or
the Flamigo too.
Or the Flamigo. They wanted the shiny Flamigo. That's what it was. Because like the Flamigo like got I think one of the final KOs. I think
Flamigo like everyone going like nuts when it hit the field because it was
that's what I'm surprised about not getting the distribution on the shiny Flamigo, but it was rather the Typhlosion. But I guess it also makes sense. But it's still really obviously it's still really cool that Yuma like won the whole thing and got the distribution and stuff.
I mean, this is for you and for anyone else attending EUIC or any IC in the future. Make the entire team shiny, so it'll always be a shiny. Like, just like if you're training your team, you're running out of time, ask a friend. You don't have a shiny, ask a friend. Like, I have offered to friends who have won internets and didn't have shiny. I'm just like, what do you do? Ask me. Like, yeah. So, Cary, please show up to EUIC with an all shiny team. Make sure your friends do.
I usually do.
Good, perfect. Good. Together as a community, we can get shiny distributions. Come on.
Please.
Group effort. All right. That being said, Cary, again, thank you so much for appearing on the podcast and being so accommodating with work schedules and stuff. Before we let you go and chill, is there anything else that it's like you wanted to say, you wanted to play from you didn't get the opportunity to, or any final words from yourself?
No, I think I'm all good. I think I covered basically everything I wanted to cover and like answered all the things that I thought I would. So I think it's all good.
Yippee. Awesome. I love to hear that. So
we covered it all, Sierra. We crushed it.
Let's go. Cary, best of luck at EUIC. It'll be fun to see the newest regional champion in NA be able to compete. And OHKO community, make sure to be cheering him on as well. If you made it to this point in the podcast, thank you again so much for listening. As we said, our question of the week, all from our Discord, as well our Galarian Moltres team that Joe Brown and the
that'll be live when this goes live.
Yeah, they've been working hard on the team. That team's about to go live, and there's been conversation if we are going to do a Slitherwing team for our next OHKO team. So hop in, maybe we can build something great together. But thank you all again so much for listening. Make sure to be tuning in next week for your next episode of OHKO. Take care, everyone.